Hello guys, my name is Miranda Gutierrez and I'm going to do my presentation on how to be a great teacher. Since most of us are going to be future teachers, I felt like my presentation, will give you some tips on how to be a great teacher in the future. One thing that my teacher and I do, we create daily objectives for our students. This is a way of providing a roadmap for your students. It shows them that you've put throughout the day work and you know where it's heading. It's best if the objectives are clear, brief, and realistic. As each objective is completed, remind your students of what they've accomplished together. For example, like I previously said, in my classroom, we find it very helpful to post that day's objectives on the board so that our students get an idea of what's going on in the class or the subject. Listen to your students. Ask them open-ended questions after they've made statements. Encourage them to ask questions as well. Show that you are listening to them by nodding your head or gesturing to them to continue. Give them eye contact while they are speaking and try best not to interrupt unless you are being redirected in the conversation. For example, being an active listener shows your students that you respect their voice in the classroom. They will be more likely to give you respect as a teacher in return. It is also good to model for your students how to respectfully listen to someone while disagreeing with them. You might say, I'm not sure I agree with what you are saying. Can you tell me more? Or does anyone else want to jump in? Those are just a couple of things that we also do in my class. Keep students on task. Set limits for classroom exercises or activities. In discussions, use responses to the remarks as a classroom management tool. Something that we use and something that we say is like, I really like what you are saying. How do you think it connects with the objective number 5 or number 6? So keep them on task. That's very important in a classroom. Discipline in a prompt and thoughtful way. Make the rules for your classroom and each exercise is very clear and consistent. If a student breaks the rules, handle it immediately in the classroom before moving forward. However, once you've made a disciplinary action, don't dwell on it, or you're going to create additional problems. Also, make sure that any consequences that you assign match the level of the offense committed. For example, if a student accidentally disrupts a quiet period, this can generally be corrected with a simple verbal warning for a first offense. You can also ask the students to stay after class and speak with you. This is one way to issue a consequence without disrupting your classroom. Push your students to succeed. Try to create an environment in which your students will be constantly intellectually challenged. Let them know that it is okay to fail on occasions. You might want to strike a balance between setting too high of goals for them or being a pushover. Use your students' progress to guide your way. They should be steadily improving, but not without considerable efforts. For example, you might give a short advanced level reading assignment to a student and you ask them to use a dictionary to look up unfamiliar words. If used sporadically, this is a great way to challenge students to expand their vocabulary. Assign leadership roles to difficult students. Some students create problems in a classroom due to sheer boredom or feeling disconnected with the subject or their teacher. Start with giving them a challenging student small personal tasks to complete. Then over time, give them more difficult and public responsibilities. For example, something that we use in my class is we ask a student to serve as a timekeeper for a class exercise. Be aware that this is not an option that will work for your most challenging student. If they don't do well at the simple tasks, don't give them more advances. Express a personal interest in all your students. If you show your students that you enjoy their company and value their opinion, then they are far likely to exhibit challenging classroom behaviors. Make a point of asking your students about their daily lives and personal interests. While staying professional, tell your students information about you in return, but please keep it professional. You might talk to your students about what are they going to do for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or for the New Year's or for spring break. Little things like that. Don't go overboard and, bottom line, stay professional. Stay calm when addressing argumentative students. It's really easy to lose your cool when faced with a challenging or critical students. Instead, take a deep breath and try to look at their perspective. Ask them to explain their position in further details. For example, tell the students to take a deep breath and ask them to go to a calm room. We, in the life skills classroom that I'm at, we have a calm room. And sometimes when our students are not having a good day or they're being disruptive, we tell them to go to the calm room so they can calm down. And then we also tell them to go take a break. Like one of us will go walking around with them around the school campus and we talk so they can take a break. Sometimes we all need a break. Offer assistance to struggling students. Do your best to identify students who are struggling academically. Consider offering a in-class resource or after school, such as, pair exercises, or direct them to external resources such as tutoring. Be professional at all times. Dress appropriately for your teaching environment. Keep your teaching materials and classrooms organized. Spend time preparing for each day of teaching. Show respect when talking with your colleagues and administrators. Think about what it means to be a professional teacher and try to live up to that model. For example, it sometimes helps to think about one of my past teachers, like Ms. Maldonado. Try to think about how you can, in some way, mimic their behavior in your classroom and career. That's what I do. Laugh and keep your sense of humor. Try to teach your students that learning doesn't have to be serious 24/7. If you do something that is funny or goofy, then laugh at yourself. Laugh about it. Being a bit will make your students more comfortable with you. And if you incorporate humor or jokes into your lesson plans, then your students will likely remember the materials better as well. Create a good relationship with parents of students. Communication is key when working with parents. Keep in touch with them via in-person conferences as well as written behavior reports. Let them know that you are interested in their ideas and perspectives of teaching. You can also solicit their help for events and celebrations in your classroom. For example, have them get involved in the PTA, Parent-Teacher Association, after school, and ask what they and you can do to help. Seek out teaching mentors. Look for other teachers at your schools who are willing to discuss teaching with you and who will even let you sit in their classes. If you are interested, invite them to your classroom after they've seen you teach, and ask them to provide you with a constructive criticism. See if you have suggestions on how you can be a better teacher. Take time to reflect. At the end of each semester or teaching period, sit down and evaluate what worked well and what didn't. Be honest with yourself and realistically assess what your powers to change before teaching that particular class again. If you're preparing for a certain course that always causes problems, you might want to consider reaching out to your mentor for advice. Take advantage of professional development opportunities. Go to teaching conferences in your area and meet other education professionals. Keep learning and you'll be a great model for your students too. Be positive. Not every teaching day will go perfectly, and some even fall into the category of disaster and you might want to quit. However, it is important to stay positive or your students will pick up and reflect on that negative energy. Take a moment to yourself and tell yourself it's gonna be okay. Tomorrow is a new day. Put a smile on your face and keep going and stay strong. Guys, I hope you like my tips on how to be a successful teacher. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel to comment at the video. And Judy, thank you so much. I wish everyone a successful semester. And for all you teachers out there, future teachers, good luck. Thank you.